At the end of this video, you will know the exact structure I used to help one of my past clients literally get and schedule 20 appointments in 2 weeks with a potential value of over $15,000. And now that you know that, enough time wasting, let's actually get into the video. Alright, so my client is a fitness coach from Italy called Enzo Fuggiano, and I was able to help him, structure a funnel through meta ads that I will explain to you in this little whiteboard here that I have, right? That allowed him to indeed get 20 appointments in over, in 2 weeks, just about 2 weeks, but by only spending essentially $500. But the potential value of, converting all of those leads was around $15,000, all right? So essentially what we did is I, used a software called Squad, which is essentially like ClickFunnels, and no, this is not a sponsor, I wish it was, but essentially it's pretty much like ClickFunnels, but it allows you to essentially include automations and also chatbots, and it essentially makes the overall process so much smoother, and it's also very, very user friendly. It has templates, and essentially it has so many very, very easy to use things that even if you're not a beginner and not someone expert who's an expert in digital marketing, you can easily use this tool right here to build everything that you need. So essentially from here, I set up the whole structure onto which we essentially run meta ads on, right? So we ran meta ads, so essentially Facebook and Instagram, which is these are the main two sources of clients online when you want to run ads, right? And what we did is we ran an ad set both for women, all right? So I'm just gonna say right here, women, and for men, right? And the main goal was to give out a lead magnet, right? And this lead magnet, what it had is essentially was a free guide to learn how to essentially burn down the belly fat for men. So this is essentially the lead magnet for men. And for women, it was how to reduce the bloating of the stomach, which is a pretty big issue among the fitness world for women as well, right? So that's the lead magnet for women, and we had two different guides personalized both for the funnel. So essentially we had two funnels, right? Two ad campaigns with two videos, one for men and one for women, right? Onto which we essentially promoted one lead magnet, one guide for men about removing belly fat, and then the other guide for women removing essentially the stomach bloating, right? And that's the main thing. So here's how both funnels were set up. Obviously I'm going to show you just the structure of one, but it was pretty much replicated for the other, and the only difference was in maybe some parts of the copy where instead of saying burning belly fat, I would say removing the bloating of the stomach, something like that. But the structure was the same for both funnels. So we had essentially from here, as you can clearly see, a video sales page, which is a main, I don't know why I called it video sales page, because it's essentially a squeeze page, an opt-in page, right? Then we had a follow-up page, which is an email confirmation page after you finished the form, which I'm going to explain to you later. And then once you landed on this email confirmation page, the main upsell was the calendar page. And from the calendar page, you would then land on a funnel landing page, which it gave recommendations on to all the people who scheduled a consultation, a free consultation, all the recommendations to essentially be on time, respect times, respect the dates, and all the different things that you needed to essentially bring on the call to be more prepared, right? And that was the main structure. Now onto the main funnel, right? So essentially we had a first opt-in page, which is the video sales page. I don't know why I called it like this, but it should be an opt-in page, but I'm gonna call it video sales page because it's the same name of the step, right? So it's gonna be video sales page, and from here we had a call to action, as you can clearly see, and this in Italian means yes, I'd like to receive the guide, which is this one, obviously, right? Let me use the red color here. I'm new to this stuff, right? I'm very new. Okay, so this was the main guide that we wanted to propagate to our leads, and obviously I made this graphic as well. From here, what would happen once you clicked here, you would land on this sort of form, or rather quiz. It was like a mixture of both, where the main thing here was that we essentially asked as the main thing for the name, the last name, the email, and the phone number, right? And obviously then we had some other information that we could pretty much use on the consultation call once they booked it, which obviously what's your height, so essentially here is height, also what's your age, how much you weigh, and all that stuff, right? And we asked a couple of questions on these points here, that allowed us to make the reader interact better with our business, but also allowed us to have more information prepared for the consultation call, because all this info was able to be saved onto a database on the CRM that we were using, which again, in this case, we're talking about Squad here. I'm going to highlight this because, you know, I really believe that these guys are doing an amazing job and you should check out their service, right? So yeah, I'm gonna highlight that. All right, so with that being said, essentially that's the form. Once the form was essentially finished, once someone submits the form through by clicking this button here, right? What would happen is you would you know, simultaneously land on this final email confirmation page, and I called it email confirmation page because I'll tell you about in a second. I'll tell you why in a second, all right? So you will simultaneously land on this email confirmation page and also receive an automation, right, that would send you via email the guide, right? So as you can clearly see, we have a trigger here, which is like the form that you needed to obviously, you know, complete to receive the guide. Then you have the, you know, FB conversion AP, which essentially connects the pixel that allows us to, you know, have all the information of the performance of the campaign. Then we had the email automation that contains obviously the guide, and then we had all the different things to essentially add the contact, add the lead to a tag called indeed lead. And it's just pretty much to diversify the different contacts that we are able to gain in a way that we can essentially work out better every single, you know, follow-up that we need to do. Now, this would happen obviously on the back end, and on the front end you would land on a landing page that would have obviously a pretty big message that would say your guide is coming, is arriving. Check your inbox, or check your promotions tab or your spam folder. And then you would also have an upsell page, right, on that same page about the consultation. So this is pretty much the, you know, direct response marketing right here. So what we had here is a pretty big, you know, chunk of copy with the, you know, with the main service, the main thing that we were going to provide through the service, right? And then we also have a video sales letter here. So the actual video sales page was the email confirmation page and not the first page, right? I don't know why I called it that way, but it was easier to organize, I guess, right? And from there we had another call to action, which is not shown in this picture, but in the CTA you will land on a calendar page, which I don't know if you remember, right? Let me write this down first. I don't know if you remember, but this calendar page was the third step, right? And from here you could essentially book a consultation call, or rather an appointment, right? So if someone clicked on this call to action after, you know, maybe watching the VSL or reading the copy and the different graphic designs and testimonials that I put in that email confirmation page on the VSL, right? Then you will land on this new page, which is a calendar, right? But again, this is not Calendly. Let's be clear here. This is not Calendly. This is a calendar that I implemented from Squad because it's, you know, essentially it's better to track all the conversions that we needed to track, right? It allows me to have everything in one place instead of using different dozens of softwares all in one, right? All in once, right? So essentially I built this calendar here and I put it through a plugin into this page, right? Very easily. So this is not Calendly. And then when someone obviously books a consultation call, or rather an appointment, you will land on this final page here, right, that says thanks for having, you know, booked your consultation, and then you're gonna have some recommendations through this video here, and also through some copy that I put here, which you cannot see in the picture, but there was essentially a bullet list with different recommendations, you know, that you should keep in mind, right? And obviously I replicated this whole process both for women and for men, and we were able to generate 20 appointments in 2 weeks. So essentially more than one appointment a day. More than one a day. Yeah, it's way more than one a day, almost 2 a day actually. So it's a pretty good result, and I wanted to share this with you guys, especially if you have a coaching business. Alright, so the video is finished. I hope you enjoyed it. Let me know if you actually like this video. Comment down below and give me some feedback about this sort of content that I'm bringing in, and let me know if you actually find it informative and, you know, very interesting for your own business. Alright, thanks for watching. See you on the next one.